Hi, thank you for joining American Perspective. This is Patriot Mom 007. I'm here today with Josh Barnett. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
He's been very patient today while we were getting set up. So we're excited to speak with him. I've seen Josh around town as a voter in my district, LD1, and he is running for U.S. Congress, and his opponent is incumbent David Schweikert and Elijah Norton, who is also, he was in studio the other day. You can check out his interview. And our goal today is to find out more about Josh. Maybe not what you hear at a home event or a forum, but maybe just some more personal things. So let's just get right to it. So I know you guys, let's talk last night. We're going to get to the real details later, but last night you were up in Prescott Valley for the Trump rally. And how was that?
Well, I'm still a Trumper, and I'm still a big supporter of President Trump. If you guys have been following me at all, you would already know this. I don't hide it. And it's because what he did for the country. You know, his policies is what work. You know, and I tell people, put your feelings aside and look at the policies and how the country was under President Trump compared to now. It's night and day.
Right.
And you know, regardless of endorsement to the wrong person, you know, President Trump's been very successful with endorsements statewide, like governor races, et cetera, which I believe he will be with Kari Lake as well.
I think you're right.
But he has lost 7 House seat endorsements, and I plan to give him number 8.
All right.
And number 8, you know, it'll be the best thing that ever happened to him, because now he's going to have somebody that's not a backstabber, not an anti-Trumper, who will actually be fighting for and with him.
Right. That's awesome to hear. So last night, is there any highlight for you that you heard or that you could share with us? If the people who didn't watch, I watched as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, just for your takeaway.
I've been to so many, you know, and, you know, it's always fun to see how the crowd reacts to the candidates. You know, everybody loves Kari, right? Everybody's loving Kari.
Yeah.
Abe, I thought, did an amazing job.
Right.
I thought Abe did a great job. You know, just off the top of my head, you know, he got the lock them up chant, you know, and I think that was a great thing, because there's a lot of truth behind what needs to happen.
Right, exactly.
We need justice, just like Abe said.
Do.
We need justice.
And a little law enforcement to go with it.
Yes. We need to support our police, support our everything's ass backwards now. You know,
it is.
And it's absurd. But you know, outside of that, I think the biggest thing for me was I came in. I saw Andy Biggs. You know, I saw Paul Gosar. Unfortunately, I believe his father passed away and could not make it. So
very sad.
Normally, Congressman Gosar would be there. You know, he's my favorite guy.
Oh, right.
And you know, then we had. I said, "Where's David Schweikert? He's endorsed. Where is he?" No showed him again.
Oh. Okay.
No showed the president.
So he was busy.
And I saw his seat. His name on it, a few rows in front of me.
Oh, if I had known, I would have taken his seat.
I had an extra seat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I took his seat and I took a picture of his name, and I took a picture of it. I said, you know, so since he no-showed the president, which is, I can't believe that somebody would do that. I had my guy Michael hanging out, sitting in that seat instead, and then you know, they said we took your seat just like I'm going to take it August 2nd.
Right.
And you know, this, you know, for somebody to be endorsed by the president of the United States and then not show up when he's in your home state a week out from an election, it just shows the lack of respect this guy has, and honestly, it disgusts me.
Okay, so
I don't hold punches.
We'll get more into that in a minute, but we know how he feels. So let's just go back a little bit on Josh. So for those of you who don't know him, and I'm learning about him too, actually, about the last 6 months. So he was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. And how long have you lived in Arizona?
I moved here in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, so May of 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What brought you out
12 years.
here?
I went through a divorce. I went through, you know, a lot of people I know have been through that similar situation,
Right.
Unfortunately. But, you know, I've been wanting to move west for quite a while, actually, you know, at that time. And I took buyouts from the facilities I had back home, and I had an opportunity to get out here. My father was out here at the time, my grandmother, my cousins, aunts, uncles all live in the Gilbert,
nice.
Chandler, Mesa area. My cousin had a bar down on University Ave, and then sold it, and then opened one in Old Town, and then sold it. So, you know,
So
when
you
I
invested, your family
invested in the
valley.
and it's a family I grew up with. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like we went to high school together. My cousin, we graduated together in high school. I went to go play football at Purdue. She played softball at Purdue. So, you know, this is like not just family like some, but like, you know, family.
Yeah, tight-knit
you know?
group, yeah.
And
That's great.
and so we still see him as much as possible. You know, Thanksgivings, it's different things. You know, because it's everybody's busy. You know
Of
how it
course,
is.
yeah,
But,
and spread out.
well, they're in college now. You
Lot
know,
of
my
geography.
one cousin's son is University of Oklahoma. The other one's going to be a senior in high school. Great baseball player. And so we'll see. Hopefully he gets a good look to go play college baseball.
That's awesome. Well, we'll hope so too. And we also want to say, I do want to not pass this by. He mentioned Congressman Gosar's father may have passed away, so we will say our condolences to Congressman Gosar and his family. That's a very sad event, and we'll pray for your family and wish you the best. All right, so let's get back to you. So you have a son, you said 7, and daughter 11 and a half.
Yeah.
So what do they think about this?
Bentley, here's how my son's being raised. So where he goes to school as teacher, they said, they were going through the presidents. And they said, President Reagan, Clinton, Bush, and they were going through them. And they got to President Trump, and then they got to the illegitimate president. So she said, well, President Biden, and Bentley raises his hand and was like, he didn't win, he cheated.
Okay.
And the teacher's like, well, he goes, you can ask my dad. But I thought it was pretty funny. And the teacher
really
laughed because, she thought it was pretty funny too.
That is.
But it's
So they're all in favor of you
yeah. I think he'd like to see me a little bit more.
Right. All
but
kids do, I think.
yeah.
But parents always have a job, whatever that may be, whether it's candidacy or 9 to 5.
But it's he even at 7 he kind of understands that what I'm doing is going to be beneficial not just to him but everybody else.
Right.
In the future. To help fight with other strong America First conservatives to change the course of this country.
Yeah, you're raising little patriots who will love our country, I'm sure, and respect it and its laws that we know are so important. For all of us, the equal part means equally follow the laws as well as get the benefit from the law, right?
Yeah,
it's
and
on both sides.
he's had fun. I got to take him to a few events. I remember we did an event with Mike Lindell, a couple of them, with Patrick Byrne, like during a lot of the voting stuff, or election integrity stuff, and Bentley go up in front of everybody, like thousands of people, do the Pledge of Allegiance, So it's good because he's not scared to go in front of people. He's very, he'll go up and say, he always likes to say, let's go, Brandon.
Nice.
He doesn't understand what it means, but I think it's pretty funny. So maybe I'm a bad parent for that.
Well,
but, so be
I
it.
think you might be considered to be if you told him what it meant. But as long as
he
you
doesn't
just
know.
keep the innocence and it's
And if the Democrats don't like it, I don't care. So it doesn't matter.
Because so that's kids are going to be kids too.
Yes,
so
true.
They repeat what they hear.
He's he can be a little ornery sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And your daughter, is she in any sports?
Oh, she's a really, really good athlete, and so is Bentley. She's in gymnastics, cheer, like competitive. Like they won. They got third place at their World Championships in cheer in Orlando.
Wow!
And she's super competitive. She's so competitive. I had to tell her to back down, and I'm highly competitive as an athlete.
So they get it from dad.
So
sure.
yeah, so she's really good, and but she enjoys it, and like I said, it's something that she chooses to do because you see too often the parents kind of forcing things on them.
Right.
Where, my son loves playing baseball, loves playing basketball, plays flag, just started flag football for the first time, had no idea the rules or anything, but just played quarterback and just started slinging the ball around, to everybody, but they love it. That's what they like to do. And I was the same way growing up.
Yeah. My boys actually started in flag here in the Valley, and then they worked their way to Pop Warner, and then ended hockey. The last 6 years was hockey season. So
well, it makes sense. You get to hit people, in hockey, just like in football.
Yeah. The ball wasn't as fun after they got older, and then the little ball with the football, and so then they had bodies against. So that's great. Well, I'm glad. So your kids, they must miss you because I know I see you out on a regular basis at events around town, people's homes, forums, and whatnot, in businesses, meeting and greeting people. So how are they handling that part of it? And I assume you have some help with the kids. They have schedules. I have the 2 boys, so I get that.
Yeah, I own my own business, so it's, we got to a point where, Bentley, with Taylor's with me in the summers and stuff like that, they can be with me, throughout the morning, throughout the day. When I'm not doing something, they can be with me, in the office or I got a separate room for them that's got
that's wonderful.
the Galaga / Pac-Man game and their own TV, and
fun.
They can watch YouTube.
So it's just a home away from home with dad.
Yeah, they can go hang out and they go work out and do some stuff.
So I think that's really important actually to hear that because I'm a busy mom. I've got a couple jobs usually and media on the weekends now. And my boys are older; they're 17 and 20. But when they were younger and I was working a couple jobs and gone all day, it was really hard. I couldn't take them with us. So I think that's amazing that you, obviously, being a business owner, you have flexibility, but that doesn't mean all the business owners take their kids to school or to work with them and have a place dedicated for their comfort so they could be with you. Like, I appreciate that as a single mom, because I know it's hard.
It worked out, Then my fiance Bella, she when I'm not there, she's there.
Okay,
great.
And
I got my other guy that have been with me since day one.
Oh, that's great.
And so whenever I'm gone, it gets covered.
Because a lot of people might think, wow, that's selfish of you to be on the trail with 2 kids, but you completely have it handled in all ways with lots of support. So that's just really important, I think. So good job, Dad. Great job. As a fellow parent. So you said you mentioned about a gym, and that's here in the Valley on 19th Avenue. Tell us just a little bit about that. It's 19th Avenue in Rose Garden. So
well, I've had it open over a decade now, and it's not a normal gym. It's not, it's a hardcore throwback, get results type of gym. It's not a pretty fitness center. That's just not my style when it comes to working out.
Sure.
And fortunately, many others feel the same way as me, and we've had a lot of success with it. Had a lot of great athletes come through, people that have been even in Mr. Olympia.
Do you have room for occupancy as far as new guests to come? Do you have the room?
Yeah.
I don't know what the size of it is.
Yeah, we have room for people to come in and check it out. It's 24/7 access. And, I set it up to accommodate anyone's schedule and that kind of thing. So
is it classes? Is it?
No, I don't do any classes.
Okay.
I only do things to get results. So I don't do classes because
So I better make sure if I'm going to go over there to visit, and maybe I better make sure I'm ready for results. So I probably am not there yet. I'm just going to say I'm not there yet.
Yes. But, no. We have my trainers all compete in the sport. In the sport, I mean, bodybuilding, figure, bikini, those types of people, and they all have a very strong understanding of dedication and diet, nutrition, and you name it. And I was just had a conversation earlier. I don't rely on motivation for anything. I rely on dedication and discipline.
Yeah.
And when you put your life, you change your perspective, because there's days where I don't feel like working out. I got to do this or that. I got to get up at 5 a.m. I go do it anyways. It's dedication and discipline. That's not motivation. And when you're motivated, it's even more fun, right? You're motivated.
Right.
But motivation is not going to last forever, but dedication and discipline can. So when you take that and apply it to everything in your life, when I started bodybuilding when I was 24 years old, I've been doing this a while. And after I played college football, I kind of got into that world. And, you learn that you can apply that to everything.
Right.
And so I've been through a divorce, finding my father dead in his apartment.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I still followed what I was doing. I still followed everything, because what you do, what you eat, how you train or don't train is not going to help. It's not going to bring back anybody from the dead. You know what I mean? And my dad would have told me the same thing. You better keep moving forward. Love me, but keep moving forward and do what you got to do to be successful and to continue.
Wow.
And I've been through it all, and I don't put up with excuses. I think as a trainer,
do you still actively
my clients
do
probably
training?
Don't like me sometimes.
Oh, you do actively train
sometimes. Yeah, I've had people that I've had for 10 years. So the ones I've had for a long time, I have them early on in the day typically.
Sure.
Super early, as I'm up at like 5 a.m. So I have them early, and I work with them still. And I haven't taken on anybody new, honestly, in a couple of years.
And what is the name of your gym?
Metroflex Gym.
Okay, Metroflex on 19th Avenue in Rose Garden. And tell me, because I work in a salon, I lease my space, and during the lockdowns here in Arizona, they shut down everything here, for those who don't know. And we were affected. We had to close down. It was very, very difficult. As a sole proprietor, as I am myself, we don't get paid if we don't work. So you have the same. Well, how was that for you?
Well, if I would have known you before, you would have never shut down.
Oh, well,
so
I'm glad I know you now.
Yeah, so if we have monkeypox nonsense is happening.
Timing is everything.
Yeah,
I
can help you, and they'll never shut you down ever again. They tried to pull that stuff with me, and Governor Ducey deemed my gym non-essential. And I always tell people I think I'm pretty essential. And my members think we're pretty essential. So my good friend David Jose, who Ron knows, David Jose is a constitutional genius. He's very good with it. And we kind of came up with this plan. Well, we're going to move your business into the private as a private association. And here in Arizona is a statute, ARS 26317. You can look it up. The first half says they can fine you, they can cite you, they can give you a misdemeanor, they can shut you down because you're in commerce with the state under an LLC or an S Corp, etc. But the second part of that says, in a private association, a member thereof, you can opt out of emergency order.
Oh, well,
So
that's something people probably should look up. How do people find that so that, God forbid, because you never know these days, people are crazy, where would people find that information when they watch this?
Well, I would just contact myself, honestly.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Josh at barnettforaz.com.
That makes
just
it
reach
easy.
out if you have any problems. Reach out. I was kind of the middleman between, because David knew all the paperwork related articles, organization, et cetera, on what to do. That was his thing, and that's what he's been doing. So I would grab the people, talk to David, set him up, and then he would handle it from there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here you go. This is great information. I did not know that myself until now. So if you do run into anything in the future, business related to these sorts of issues that could pop up again, you're going to want to go to, give me the address again, Josh at?
Yeah, Josh at barnettforaz.com.
Okay. We're going to put it in the, little bio later
There's
too.
some powerful things with that too. So like Ian Smith from Attila's
Yes,
Gym.
yeah,
So
familiar.
Ian, we got with Ian. I the date specifically, but it's a Friday. It's
Okay.
it's like Thursday, like really late Thursday, like middle of the morning Friday his time. David got with him. We finally got to him. We knew he was getting just destroyed, right? And we had a mutual friend that got us in touch. So we moved him into the private, sent the affidavits out that Friday to the AG and everybody. Monday comes around. So they're not going to get to him until probably Monday afternoon.
Right.
So we had to send certified mail so we knew when it came through. Well, he got arrested Monday morning.
Wow.
Okay. So they arrested him, let him go. They didn't hold him. Let him go. He gets out. He calls, say, hey, the certified mail hit. Well, okay, perfect. Give it one day and then go reopen your gym. So he gave it Tuesday. Wednesday he went in, him and Frank, his business partner, and live on Instagram. They have a huge following on
Right,
Instagram.
I'm sure.
And Tucker and everybody, had him on.
Yeah.
And he kicked the front doors in. Not just, it's totally Ian.
Right.
They'll just cut the chain, open the door, like kick the front doors in and kick the boards down, and they all go in and everybody goes in and starts working out.
Amazing.
And he never got arrested again because he was in the private
Right.
as a private association and they can't touch him. And we did the same thing with Tommy, who has gyms in New Jersey, and we took it to a constitutional arbitration, which I don't think the DA even knew what the heck was happening, to be honest with you. And we went to arbitration. Tommy won the arbitration and awarded $1.2 million. Same thing happened in California. They tried to mess with us. And if John Franco in California is a boot camp, they tried to mess with him. They wouldn't stop. Went to arbitration. He was awarded $455,000.
Wow. So these are the cases in court you do not hear about on the news.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all the people that are settling for the wrongdoings that were done to them by their local and state officials during the lockdown. So probably should check in on that, people, so that you know that it's available to you too if you were wronged in any way in your state. So, wow, that's a lot of information. Somebody just didn't digest it.
I always tell people,
it's-
be preventative, be proactive.
Yeah.
So with your health.
Can I just ask you
Yeah.
though, real quick? You sound like you have an attorney's background.
No.
Have you learned all this just from being in the system?
I've learned all of it, almost forced to learn all of this, in a way, and just kept diving into it for years now. And a lot of our rights are in the state constitutions.
Right.
The majority are. The shiny objects, the U.S. Constitution, but the individual rights are in your state constitutions, and they're all interchangeable. The Bills of Rights are all interchangeable. That's one thing people don't understand. As we got absorbed into the Union, the rights you have in Virginia, you would have in Arizona.
Right.
You can't have rights in one state, you can't have in another. As far as your Bills of Rights, your God-given rights. And that's what people fail to understand as well, because they're like, Josh, you cite Virginia or Michigan or something. I'm like, well, they apply to me too.
Here too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
So see, also learned that. So I'm so glad you came today. I'm learning things by the minute, actually. I'm sure everybody else is that's going to be listening to this. So I also want to talk, let's move into your field of competition.
Mm-hmm.
It is, we mentioned earlier, David Schweikert and also Elijah Norton, who was in last week. And tell me kind of where your campaign is feeling these days, where you're standing, how you're feeling in general, what you need. Maybe do you need still donations or volunteers? Let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we feel very good where we're at right now, and Elijah has spent almost $3 million. He's out spending me like 60 to 1, but like I told you earlier, I don't believe, and this election's unique, I don't believe that you're going to buy this election. There's more people than ever paying attention now
That's true.
and actually looking into it a little bit, most people,
Right.
more than what we've seen in the past.
Correct.
And I've been saying that from day one. So I've been trying to utilize my social media as much as possible and everything else to kind of help fill in that gap that financial difference, right?
Yes.
But, I would be feeling terrible if I was Elijah Norton. If I spent $3 million and Josh is even within if he's even remotely close to me, I would be upset. In my polling that I just got last night, I was sharing with you a little bit. I'm still up 11 points on him. I'm still double digits on him out of 800 live phone calls.
Wow.
And Schweiker, I keep closing a gap on him, but he's an incumbent, so that
Right.
that's
He's got a lot of name
name recognition, name ID, but his record is atrocious.
His record I actually checked on his record because a lot of people heard that he was convicted for things, and it came up in conversation recently too. But just to set the record straight, he was never officially convicted of any of the crimes he was alleged to have committed. However, in lieu of convictions in the court system, he was unanimously reprimanded by every Republican and every Democrat in the House. He also was charged to pay $50,000 fine for committing 11 ethical violations. And in January 2022, the FEC fined David Schweikert's campaign committee $125,000. So that would be considered being convicted in civil court instead of Superior Court, criminal court.
And he's had hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's what a fine is.
In attorney bills, to fight it. He spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on attorneys.
Right, I'm sure.
And that's probably our money as well.
I'm sure. So we know he has a shady past, at least financially, which I think is kind of important if you're holding office, to be really transparent with your finances. Your volunteers, are they still knocking? I want people, you're going to be, actually, let's say this, Monday, which is the 25th.
Yes.
North Valley Constitutional Republicans group up in Anthem, Arizona. We'll post this before then. Josh will be there with a slate of candidates. I keep telling people that they're still out there to meet and talk to. A lot of people are calling and they're not like, who should I pick? They're still out there for another couple weeks. So that's going to be 7 o'clock in Anthem at Amped Coffee. It's cutting off at 250 people to attend. And so stop by. And you're also...
Carrie Lake will be with me.
Carrie Lake's
yes.
This is about. I'm going to say this is about Josh. So
Yeah.
Carrie Lake will be there too. Jan DeBoscus, Sherry Sapir, to name a few.
All the good
I'll
ones.
put it up on the bio. All the people are asking about. So it's a good opportunity. Also Tuesday, is it Tuesday? You're going to be
Yes.
at an LD meeting.
Yes, LD8.
District 8.
District 8.
LD8, right? So if you're in that district, you can see him there. And where's that going to be held? Do you know?
I forget the name of the place.
Okay.
I forget the name of the place.
So
on
we'll
there.
figure it out, and then we'll put it in the bio.
I'll put it out there, because I know Ray. I'll have to get the address.
And then later today, you mentioned earlier, which I know I'm going to try to attend at the Indian Reservation. What's happening?
Yeah, there's a forum that I was invited to, and I'm the type, I'll go to anything, anywhere, talk to anybody. I don't need to rehearse. I don't need to prepare. I'll just go off the top of my head and just go with it. But that's what you can do when you've been doing this and you've been diving and studying this for so long. I don't need to prepare. It's like even when I talk to attorneys, I don't need to prepare, and because I use the highest law of the land to support what I'm saying, which is the Constitution. And you can talk about statute all you want, but statutes are deemed unconstitutional all the time. I'm talking about the Constitution.
Right.
And they can't rebut a lot of what we say, because of that. But I'm looking forward to it. I have no idea what's going to happen. There's Democrats there. Adrian Fontes will be there. So if I hear anything dumb coming out of his mouth about the election, he's going to get called out. Okay. This guy has ruined our state. With what they've done. Him and Katie Hobbs, and unbelievable what they've done to this state. And these people should never hold office again in this state.
Well, I'm hoping to be there later to cover it. If not, I'm just going to say check out Map Real Talk. George is usually there to cover these things, so definitely check that out. Somebody will have it online to watch later for people to see who you're getting to vote for, so you have some information before you just check the box. That's never a good idea, by the way. So I think you signed, speaking of that, a term limit pledge. Mm-hmm. A few other people's have as well, so tell us about that.
Well, some of us sign it and actually will abide by it and follow through with it, unlike David Schweikert, who signed it and has been past the 3-term pledge that he pledged to. Well past the 3-term pledge, so that's why we plan on retiring him.
Right.
Anyways, we need to get him out. These people that have been there too long, nothing positive ever comes of it usually.
So no more than 8 years is what you're pledging to
it's actually 3-term. It's a 3-term pledge, so 6 years. But I personally think a 4-term pledge, it makes more sense because at 8 years, the same length as a president would get.
Sure,
maximally.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, that I think will say a lot about a person who admits and hopefully sticks by it. I mean, I don't know you that well. I assume you're telling me the truth.
I hate Washington, D.C. I don't even want to be there. I'm only going there to fight for this country.
Yeah, and so what my point is that, I'm meeting these candidates, as I think everybody should out there who's listening, and get to know them yourself, because I have an honest feeling from Josh. I believe what he says. I don't find I've been lied to yet, but the proof is in the pudding. I tell my kids, as you do, I'm sure actions speak louder than words. And so I just keep encouraging people before it's the day they vote to please start looking at the candidates really seriously and ask questions. Yes. Let's see. I got a little note here. Oh yeah, the reminder. So Doris, she always gives me the stuff in the head that I forget. To start at the bottom of the ballot, and the further, God, I didn't know that. So as you move down the ballot in choices, the further down you go is the closer to your residence, your home, where you live, your neighborhood, for your local seats. So pay attention to that. Oh, really interesting. Didn't know that either.
And use a blue pen and take your own.
Use a blue ballpoint, not a marker of any kind, and do not let them give you a marker in any of the precincts, which will have them now, which are not great. They do bleed. So if you are concerned about that, just know it was already tested last week, and they found that it did bleed through the ballot.